And we're back, ladies and gents. The Fast Lane. Ryan O'Connor, John Williams. Hello, John.
How's it, Ryan?
Lekker. Good. We've had a nice Easter break. Thanks to everybody who reminded us that we didn't have a podcast, a last one, because we had a break over Easter. And we're back and we're fighting fit for the remainder of the Formula One season. It's just only begun, really. But more Formula One, more local racing, more action in the fast lane, more cars that we've driven, more cool things that are happening. Let's talk quickly about Formula One before, obviously, this goes out, and it's very specific for this coming weekend. So if you're watching this after the Formula One, you'd know what's happening in the world of Formula One. But a lot of things off the track and, of course, on the track, as all eyes are on Japan.
Yeah, Suzuka, famous for its tradition. It's like a good old school traditional racetrack, like I always speak about, you know. Still got sand traps and stuff, and the drivers just enjoyed racing there. So the weather conditions look like it could be raining. So again, see the best, you know, the wet weather specialists coming out to do well in that event. Lots of action with the fans. I mean, I was looking, when was it, a couple of days ago, they had brought out some of the old cars, you know, like Benetton sponsors, Ayrton Senna, Jordan. They even had Max's dad's Honda that he had driven. Max got to sit in the car, you know, Honda obviously big,
Jos.
No, it's Jos.
Die ding is los.
It was very lost back then. But yeah, nice for him to reminisce, because he had a picture of him when he was like 2-3 years old in the car, and now to sit in it again. But the fans, they really go all out wearing replica overalls and helmets of their famous drivers. And it's going to be a big event. But off the track, there's been lots of talk. Obviously, we heard Lonzo wanting to maybe jump in any seat that's quicker than the current seat that he's in. And I suppose towards the end of his career, he doesn't have a lot of time left. So he wants to be in a winning car.
He's got fight.
He does. I love it. I love the fact that he brake test George Russell, just by the way. Everyone's moaning. I mean, come on, man. Bring some of that old school back, you know. Wake the guys up a bit.
Speaking of old school racing that's coming back, ladies and gents, Samola Hill Climb. It's now news. The Ferrari 458 driven by John Williams up the hill climb.
I can't wait, as you know. Ryan's getting a little bit tired of me talking about this hill climb.
Speaking of which, a car needs to be perfect to go up and down a hill climb. Don't do anything in a car that's not perfect. We'd like that to be a general blanket statement for people. Your car should always, you should always just check your car out.
Do the general
roadworthiness, etc., etc. You've had a look at the 458 closely under magnifying glass, and those incredible folks at Magmaster. What a great company! Let me tell you, you would not, with the naked eye or through the steering wheel, have picked up there was a problem with those wheels. What did the folks at Magmaster do?
No, so they've just found that the wheels were buckled, you know, which is quite common on roads that we drive on, and especially if people don't know how to drive supercars well, you know, they're just going up pavements too quickly, or speed bumps, or, you know, the odd pothole. We're lucky in Cape Town, we don't have a lot of potholes.
A lot of potheads.
Yeah, we do.
A lot of potheads here. Like, hi, Bree, talking to me. You're talking to me. Insert my stogie. Hey, talking to me, Bree. Hey. Oh, no, that's a Joburg voice. That's my Joburg voice. This is like Cape Town voice, Bree. Hey, Bree, call me a pothole. I'm a pothead.
So the cars. So it's good to get checked regularly, especially with these cars.
And the cars.
Yeah, so we're having those things all checked.
Tires,
we're getting some Pirelli
motorsport tires.
No, we don't have run flats.
These are definitely run fats.
No run flats. We got the Trofeo. We've actually gone with the Trofeo tire. It's like a semi-slick, but road legal tire, because obviously the hill climb you have to run a road legal tire. So looking forward to trying that. Obviously the conditions in that time of the year, it's winter. You get a bit of like moisture on the track early mornings, and it kind of dries up, but we've also seen it can rain, so taking a bit of a risk, but I mean, it's gonna be fun.
A lot of people are scared of you, John.
I doubt that very much.
You know they are.
No, they're not. We're just going there to have fun, max fun, as we say. Garth obviously in the McLaren.
Don't be a dick.
Yes.
Is that the payoff line for our team?
Yeah, max fun and don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick, max fun.
Exactly.
Ninja.
With a little bit of competitiveness.
Garth and Team Garth and John will be there to support them come the hill climb. Right, from the hill climb to our very own backyard, where John and I have been driving a lot of really cool cars. I just want to talk, because it is a fast lane. Besides cars, I want to talk about cool things. You know, Breitling's one of the show sponsors. Breitling have just been doing amazing things. I want to talk about the new B70 Orbiter. The B70 Aerospace. It's just, it's a mind-blowing watch. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Insert watch picture now. Drool, her, much, her. What a watch. Love it.
Unbelievable. Watch that.
Titanium, and I would take the one with the rubber strap like you've seen there.
Yes.
Next week, that's the one that it's on its way soon, hopefully, after Watches and Wonders or Wonders.
You like your rubber straps?
You've got to be at a certain age where rubber's important to you. Those years for you and me are gone.
Our motor plans run out.
Lots of pay as you go now. Let's talk quickly before we get to that Breitling and what makes it so special. Let's talk quickly about cars we've been driving. Again, Brandon at Roller Luxury Collection. Brandon's been so hardworking at making sure the dealership are well stocked with cars. I've had plenty of them from his dealership cars, and I've been in the G-Wagon. I'm just not going to give back. The G-Wagon's now mine.
That's yours.
It says Yan 1. Yan 1. With January the 1st, that's when I officially stopped breathing. Let me just quickly tell you, besides the cars that he's got, Range Rover Sport, the newest 2024 Range Rover Sport. John, what a car. You've been driving a courtesy of BMW Tiger Valley, the new 550i. It's a new shape.
Love it.
On their floor for 1.5 million.
Yep.
Let's have a quick look at the cars we were driving.
All right, so a weekly feature in the Fast Lane podcast is to break away and have a look at the cars that John and I are driving. They're not too dissimilar, although one's a 4x4 and one's an all-wheel drive, or X-Drive. As BMW call it. BMW Tiger Valley have given you this, John, the 550i. I think it's one of the most understated cars in terms of the looks. It looks just like a really cool four-door sedan, but it's a behemoth of an engine, a behemoth of a car.
Yeah, I just wonder how long they're going to be making cars like this. I think in terms of 5 Series, this is it. You're not going to get the V8 engine anymore. And, someone said to me, but it doesn't have the bigger wheels or the bigger brakes, but then it would be an M5.
Yeah.
So you don't want an M5, you want a 550i.
Also, we both know, because we've driven that car before,
yes.
The M5 might not necessarily be the most comfortable car to take the family in. There are certain compromises you have to make having the M badge in front of a vehicle that you're driving. The M5 is no exception. It's a tighter drive, it's a firmer drive. Nothing wrong with it, but this is just, for me, it's a lot more forgiving.
Yeah, for what you pay, 1.5 million rand, you're getting everything. And what I quite like is all the years when you bought, if you didn't buy M3 or M4, M5, the cars underneath were a little bit like boring. They're still spec'd quite nicely. It's got the nice wheels. It's kind of got the sporty ride, ride height. So for me, it's like sneaky fast. It's subtle but effective,
3 things you love about this vehicle?
Sure. I love the boot space. The fact that you can fit a lot of things in it, and it doesn't, it's obviously a big vehicle, but that it doesn't give it away that it's got so much boot space. It still looks in proportion.
Got you.
So I like that. I like the fact that it's a bit of a sleeper. You're at the robots, everyone goes, oh, look at this car. It's understated, and the next minute, bang, you're doing 0 to 100 in 4 seconds. Love that. What else? The fact that it's just a BMW. It's just solid.
Sure.
It's just such a good car. I think the one thing that I'm a little bit disappointed with is, like I say, it's discontinued.
Okay,
it's going to be
one
taken
thing you
over
don't
by
like?
i5.
Right.
2
more things you don't like about the car?
I've been thinking about the whole time while I'm trying to get, when we were coming here, is I can't really knock it. It's just so good.
I don't like, this is the only thing I don't like. I'm not a big fan of the gear lever.
Really?
The gear lever, I know it's ergonomically designed to fit your hand. For me, there's something about it that's almost, I'd like something a bit chunkier. If you look at the steering wheel of the car, it's one of my favorite steering wheels of all time.
I know you like that, yeah.
It's lovely, it's leather, it's not that suede or Alcantara finish. It's a proper chunky, thick steering wheel, which I love.
It's funny you say that about the gear lever. For me, when I grab this gear lever, I automatically go into Tom Cruise.
Oh, really?
Top Gun. I feel like I'm like an
Maverick.
Yeah. So, but the one thing, actually, if I think about it, is where you put your phone in to charge.
Yes.
One, I can't get my hand in and out there. If I have to really be critical, that's the only thing. Otherwise,
nice. And the family happy at the back? Bjorn's happy in the back?
Very luxurious in that sense. A lot of space, a lot of leg room.
Yeah.
It's just such a good car. I can't fault it.
Right, this is what John's been driving, courtesy of BMW Tiger Valley. Let's hop into what I've been driving, courtesy of Range Rover South Africa or the Land Rover Group. It's been something special. And here we are, John, in my choice of vehicle for the week. It's the all-new Range Rover Sport. From the outside, you can sense that there's an upgrade, obviously. You can tell from the looks front on and at the back. It was one of the sexiest backsides in terms of SUVs.
I agree with you on that. I love the lines. It's very smooth, and they've shaven everything off. There's just nothing it's so aerodynamic.
Absolutely.
Which is great. But I've got a question for you.
Sure.
It must be, how would you choose these days? Luxury sedan or SUV?
See, it's tough. It depends on what your needs are. hard pushed to be able to make a call on which one of those two had you been given the choice. I think we tend to go SUV because of the quality of the roads in the country. We think that with the bigger wheels and the more forgiving suspension, we can get away with going over rougher surfaces with an SUV.
Yes,
We also think in terms of load space, and everybody wants to, in their mind, realize that if they've got an SUV, if they wanted to go off-roading, camping, kind of putting...
feel safer
you
too,
just
I suppose.
feel a little bit higher up. Load space is always a big issue when you're going away with a family. You tend to squeeze more into an SUV for some reason. Also, having driven this one and being an owner, I've owned, I was trying to work out the math. I think I've owned 5 of the previous generation Range Rover Sports, and every single one of them, I'm not saying I was sponsored, I've owned personally 5 Range Rover Sports, and every single one of them had issues.
Really?
Every single one of them. Look, I'll tell you the 3 things. We're going to talk about the things I like and the things I don't like about this car. First of all, this car is from front to back. There's a lot of design work that's been done. In terms of comfort, it's got possibly the best suspension I've ever driven in an SUV. I've just driven, courtesy of our friends Brandon and Luxury Motor Collection, the previous or the brand new Range Rover Vogue, the big body Vogue. Incredible suspension. I was going to say it's one of the best suspensions ever. Super soft seats. This car is right up with that car in terms of suspension.
I agree.
The air suspension on this car is beautiful.
It's like floating.
Went up the West Coast, it just absorbs all the bumps. Everything that the roads throw at it, it just takes it in its stride. Happy to cruise along. The new infotainment system is a dream to use. Somebody said at one of the farm stalls, you probably need a degree to work the infotainment system. I said, no, not the case. It's a really simple to use system. It works flawlessly. This vehicle, like I said, is just refined. They've taken the product that is Range Rover. They've worked on the big-bodied Vogue version, and the Sport nailed it. 3 things I love about this car. Well, the looks is number 1. And number 2, the drive, the comfort of the suspension is unparalleled. And 3, the amount of attention to detail inside the cabin. There is a seat headrest here with speakers built into it. So when you're cruising along and you're talking, when you move your head and you're talking to somebody, like I was talking to John, I was like, John, you're coming through the speakers built in the rear of the seat.
Me so well, for the first time he was actually listening to me.
It was amazing. So I can list so many more than 3 things that I like. Some things I don't like about this vehicle, and they're minor things. Number 1, I might not have opted for the extra big wheels. I would have maybe taken a size smaller and
I'm a wheels
instead
guy.
really
I love the stance on this vehicle.
it would have
with the
made
big
it
wheels.
maybe a little bit more comfortable. It's still great. As you mentioned, the suspension is still great. Maybe I would have gone, I don't know.
Like more off-road type wheel for you?
More knobbly off-road type wheels
gotcha.
for this vehicle, like I had in the Vogue, strangely enough, that I was driving.
Because, you need those when you go on holiday to the Century City Hotel. It's quite off-road that.
There's nowhere near off-road,
Well,
but I get what
that's
you're saying.
as far as
It's
you go
boulevard
camping.
cruising.
Wanting off-road, but yes, I agree with you.
Okay, then also very quickly, there is the fact that, things I don't really like about the car. I don't enjoy, in actual fact, I'm trying to think of what. Oh, it still needs a designated attachment for caravans and...
Doesn't have that.
No, it has an it has
this is gonna sound
attachment,
funny.
but it doesn't plug straight in. You have to actually fit the attachment. But it's not the only car. So does BMW, so does Mercedes, so does a list of manufacturers. They still have.
But do people that buy these cars go camping?
Well, I had a trailer in the back of this car. I had a trailer.
Okay.
Because it's easier to transport things up in a trailer, and it was a dream to tow it. Anyway,
Probably couldn't even feel it behind this thing.
I couldn't.
You forget that you actually have it behind with this amount of torque.
100%.
Two perfect cars for 2 perfect gentlemen.
Exactly.
What a noise your car made, by the way.
It does. It's got a beautiful rumble.
Beautiful.
A beautiful rumble. You just want to hear it more and more. It's just, it literally does this.
What happens when I slow this down?
I mean, sure.
See all my chin's going and everything wobble around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was going to actually leak a little bit of something.
Please don't leak anything
but
here.
I can't, and it's so difficult for me. But it revolves with doing a little this before you take off. A little jingle before you take off.
I'll give you a clue. I have 5 good reasons to go,
For someone at the age of 60.
not me.
But yes, so
we'll talk
the
about that next
550,
week.
yeah.
We'll
And
talk about that next week.
yeah,
because that's
definitely.
special from
It is
BMW
very special.
Tiger Valley. A huge thanks to Chris and the team out there for driving John and I around and giving us some cool things to look at from the BMW stable. They've also got Mini in their group, the SMG group is quite comprehensive. They've got branches all over. Our closest one's Tiger Valley, so we give them the most love. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And then from that, John, onto we've got the hill climb, like I said, coming up. We've got no MotoGP for until the next podcast comes out. Local regional racing. The guys race GTIs. Now, it's just got to have the badge GTI in it. It can be a Polo.
A VW badge.
Well,
the
the VW badge, obviously. But anyone within the VW stable that has a GTI badge.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't necessarily have a GTI. It can be CDI, City Golf, Jetta, any of those brands or models. But it needs to be a Volkswagen of a certain age.
Does that have to be a certain engine?
There are different classes, different engine capacity for different classes. But it's always been a good stepping stone if you want to go national racing. I always say from karts into GTI Challenge is the way to go, especially for the youngsters to show their talent. And obviously the cars there's rules and regulations, so it creates close racing, which I think is awesome. It's not checkbook racing where you go and buy the fastest car and you might not have the most talent. Yes, you can obviously spend the money and buy a Class A car, but the cars in that class are all the same. They're very similar. So creates a lot of exciting racing. 30 entries, which is just great to see the sport growing again. It took a little bit of a dip after COVID.
I want to just say to everyone that watches this and subscribes, it's lovely to meet people, more and more people that are watching and following our journey with us with the fast lane. I saw one of the nicest cars. It's become one of my favorite cars to own. And John and I are in search of a project car for me. I want this car as a bit of a project car, but also something as more of a collector piece. I'm after an Audi RS4.
Yes.
Right. We saw one the other day at the track. And then a great youngster that's driving it.
Yeah. Troy Dolenchek.
Troy, this is for you, my friend. We'll have you on the podcast soon. We promise that. And you will come up on the... You've got the most beautiful RS4.
Yeah. While you chat to him, I'll take the car for a bit of a drive. Man.
You got to be on the podcast with me. But he had a great season in racing, I think, last year. And as a treat to himself, he took his race winnings and he bought the RS4.
Yeah,
what a good car.
I'm sure Dad helped a bit. I think Dad actually was quite excited about that car more than him.
Troy, well done, man. Well done. Don't listen to Uncle John here.
Uncle John. No, it's beautiful. In that color too. I mean, I like to see them still kept original. Yeah. And it's, you don't see many of them with low mileage in that condition. So, hard to find.
Absolutely. Let's quickly talk about what's happening outside of racing at the moment. You are gearing up for that. And there's a lot of fitness involved. You've just bought the most incredible ice bath I've ever seen, and I want one.
Yes. No, look.
It's a freezer. It's a chest freezer.
Yeah, I like to think it a little bit more than that, but someone put me in my place other day and said, John, it's just a chest freezer. It's not an ice bath. But
I've never ever seen that freezer chest in my life. Why do they call it a chest freezer? Have you tried to put your nipples in the water? Did you put your little nipples in?
I do.
Your little baby nipples?
Doesn't count if you don't below the nipples.
We've probably changed the PG rating just because I've used the N word.
Yeah.
Nipple. It's worth it. I'll say it again. Nipple.
We'll just get Alex to blur that out.
A chest freezer is supposed to freeze the chest. Did it freeze your chest?
It did.
Did it make you sing like Barry Gibb?
Who's Barry Gibb?
Nobody gets too much heaven, no one. How do you think he sang that high? He spent time in the chest freezer.
No, you told me. Well, yeah, no, that's not. I'm not doing any Barry White or Barry Gibbs Gibb. No Barrys.
The greatest Australian export, mate.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, so you're loving it? You're loving it?
Look, I mean, mentally you have to prepare yourself to get into these things. But I've managed to do pretty well. 5 degrees and I've got to 12 minutes.
Can we give the guys details that sells that on
Cold as Duck.
I like that.
That is a very cool name. And he literally waterproofs it, puts everything in place. And it's quite nice because for those who don't know, you normally would have to go buy ice or put it up in those blow up things that they have and put the water in, the ice in. It's a whole mission. Or you do it in the bath, whereas this just stays constantly cold. You can have the water in there for 2 weeks. So it's been a game changer. With my injury that I've had, I really do feel that it's helping. And if you don't have one, go get yourself one.
Is it comprehensively big? And I'm telling you why I'm asking.
Yeah.
I've got an idea for you.
Oh, here we go.
Right? Let's get a blow-up doll, fill it with water. Won't be hard to find one. We'll just ask Jill to look in your cupboard. We'll find one of your dates you take on tour with you, one without puncture hit marks, and then we fill it up with water, right? And we freeze it. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Huh? Cold as ice. We freeze it, then we peel the layer, the plastic off the blow-up doll, and then you got a frozen doll to help you.
Ice cold wife.
And an ice cold. She can give you the cold shoulder.
Oh my gosh.
Should we do it as an experiment?
How are you going to put water in it?
We have to evolve this, the fast lane.
I know, you can get
How do you get water in?
It's got a Bobby Johnson hole.
What?
Put a 500 in.
Now we've got to PG this. Anyway, okay, let me get back because there's some incredible people that are part of this podcast. Our friends at OneBet and Breitling, please don't leave us. I apologize for John.
Apologies for that.
These are great premium brands that are associated with this brand. Speaking of OneBet are doing amazing things around sport. Please go and check them out. OneBet.co.za. T's and C's. OneBet is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling Board and Racing Board. License, or rather, gambling for 18 years and over. Please, you know when to stop. There's a toll-free cancer counseling line. This is it over here coming up on the screen now because I don't know it off the top of my head, but please, T's and C's apply. And then Breitling, quickly, I want to talk about the B70 watch that's out. So there's a thing called the Orbiter, right? They had the Orbiter 1, it was unsuccessful. The Orbiter 2 was unsuccessful. The Orbiter 3 was the hot air balloon that circumnavigated the Earth.
Wow, third time
very
lucky.
Special, very special. So the pilot and Bertrand Piccard, the captain, to commemorate their relationship with Breitling, they've issued this B70 watch.
Wow.
It's beautiful. In an orange dial, it's a super quartz movement. The watch is waterproof to 100 meters, but it's made of titanium. I would go, like I said, for the rubber strap. It is a beautiful looking watch. Looking to get one soon to be able to give you a bit more details. But the special kicker is that the back of the watch has a see-through display case. It features a piece of the hot air balloon that broke the world record. So you're in actual fact getting not only a great watch, but a piece of history. That is a history-making part of the history-making balloon, the Orbiter 3.
How many pieces of these are they going to have? Is it limited?
As long as the balloon lasts. So they're going, it's going to run out really, really quickly. So get yours.
And estimated price on something
about
like that?
100,000 Rand.
Okay.
Which is really good price for that piece of history.
Very cool to get something like that.
Yeah, very cool. We'll hopefully, like I said, have one soon. To Ian and the team at Breitling South Africa, thank you very much. We'll look forward to seeing that when it comes to South Africa soon. But go check their website out. Breitling have got the most amazing timepieces. We're around here. Like, subscribe, be a part of the community. If you think we should freeze John's blow-up doll, let us know in the comments down below. If you think maybe we shouldn't, we should stick to things we know, like cars, well then John will have more of that for you next week. Take care, everybody. Catch you in the fast lane next week. Bye-bye.